There are lots of things that I have to do. I saw lots of people on the streets. There are lots of things that I have to pay for. A lot of. How many times do you want to repeat a lot of? Aren't there other English alternatives to a lot of, or a lot, that you can use to emphasize that there's a large number of things, or there are many things or many people? The answer is yes. And that's exactly what we're going to be focusing on in today's video. You will get to learn all the alternative ways of saying that there is a large number of things or people, or there are many people or things, without repeating a lot in your English sentences, to add color to your speech and take it a step further. But before we do so, I kindly want you to like this video in support of this channel, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and leave a comment down below by telling me from which beautiful country you're watching these videos. Now let's get started. The first alternative to a lot is a large number of something, a large number of people, a large number of things, a large number of someone or something. This phrase can be used to emphasize that there are many people or there are many things. Let me give you two examples of this beautiful phrase. The first example: a large number of employees attended the training on Friday. A large number of employees attended the training on Friday. A large number of employees attended the training on Friday, which means many employees, a lot of employees, attended the training on Friday. Instead of saying a lot of employees, I said a large number of employees. The second example: there is a large number of trees in the national park. There is a large number of trees in the national park. There is a large number of trees in the national park, which means there are many trees in the national park. There are a lot of trees in the national park. But instead of using a lot, I'm saying there is a large number of trees. So the first alternative to a lot of someone or a lot of something, a lot of people or a lot of things, is a large number of people or things. Now let's proceed to the second alternative to a lot that you can use to avoid repeating a lot. There is nothing wrong at all, guys, with using a lot. It's one of the most fundamental, one of the most basic, and one of the most frequent and commonly used methods of emphasizing that there is a large number of people or things, or there are many people or things. But in today's video, we're just trying to take our English to the next level by working on other phrases that we can use instead of a lot. Not only to improve our vocabulary, our knowledge of English phrases, but also to take our English a step further to the next level by adding color to it. So the second phrase that you can use instead of a lot is an abundance of, an abundance of, an abundance of, an abundance of. An abundance of can be used to refer to a large number of things or people, usually more than needed, usually more than enough. So an abundance of something refers to a large number of people or things, or many people or things, usually in a way that they might be more than needed, or there might be more than enough. Two examples. The first one: the region has an abundance of natural resources. The region has an abundance of natural resources. The region has an abundance of natural resources, which means the region has a large number of natural resources, has a lot of natural resources, has many natural resources, usually more than necessary, more than enough, like a large number of national resources. The example number 2: there was an abundance of enthusiasm among the volunteers. There was an abundance of enthusiasm among volunteers. There was an abundance of enthusiasm among volunteers, which means there was a large amount of enthusiasm. There was a lot of enthusiasm among the volunteers. Now let's focus on the third English phrase that we can use instead of a lot to emphasize that there are many people or things, which is a multitude of people or things, a multitude of people or things, a multitude of people or things. A multitude of people or things refers to a very large number of people or things. Two examples. The first example: a multitude of birds filled the sky at dawn. a multitude of birds filled the sky at dawn. A multitude of birds filled the sky at dawn, which means a large number of birds filled the sky at dawn. Many birds, a lot of birds, filled the sky at night. Instead of saying a lot of birds or many birds, we're saying a multitude of birds filled the sky at dawn. The second example, there is a multitude of problems that need to be addressed. There is a multitude of problems that need to be addressed. There is a multitude of problems that need to be addressed, which means there is a large number of problems that need to be addressed, or there are many problems, a lot of problems that need to be addressed. Guys, I think it sounds far more advanced when you say a multitude of birds, a multitude of problems, than a lot of birds, a lot of problems, right? So by using these phrases, not only are we taking our English to the next level, but also we're doing our best to sound more advanced and sound more like native speakers. So the next time that you want to emphasize that there are a lot of people or things, instead of using a lot like all the time in your speech or in your writing, you can simply take advantage of these phrases. Now let's move on to the next English phrase that you can use and take advantage of instead of repeating a lot, which is plenty of people or things. Plenty of people or things. Plenty of. Plenty of. So we can use plenty of to emphasize that there's a very large number of people or things. Two examples. The first one. We have plenty of time to complete the project. We have plenty of time to complete the project. We have plenty of time to complete the project, which means we have a lot of time to complete the project. There's a large amount of time to complete the project. We have an abundance of time to complete the project. The example number 2. There's plenty of a space in the living room for all the guests. There's plenty of a space in the living room for all the guests. There's plenty of a space in the living room for all the guests, which means there's a large amount or there's a great deal of space in the living room for all the guests. There's a lot of space or there's an abundance of space for the guests in the living room. The next English phrase that we can use instead of a lot is a plethora of something. A plethora of something. A plethora of something. A plethora of something. A plethora of something can be used to refer to a large number of people or things, a significant number of people or things, an abundance of people or things, a multitude of people or things, or plenty of things, right? So we can use a plethora of something instead of a lot. Let me provide you with 2 examples of this phrase. The first example, she received a plethora of comments on her performance. She received a plethora of comments on her performance. She received a plethora of comments on her performance, which means she received a lot of comments on her performance, a large number of comments, a multitude of comments on her performance, or plenty of comments on her performance. The example number 2, there is a plethora of apps available for tracking your fitness. There is a plethora of apps available for tracking your fitness. There is a plethora of apps available for tracking your fitness, which means there's a large number of apps available for tracking your fitness. There is a multitude of apps available for tracking your fitness. Or there's an abundance of apps available for tracking your fitness. Or there are, lots of apps. There are many apps. The most basic ways of saying it. There are many, there are a lot, or there are lots of apps available for tracking your fitness. The next English phrase that we're going to be working on, that we can use instead of repeating a lot, is an interesting way of emphasizing that there is a large number of people or things, which is a wealth of something. A wealth of something. A wealth of something. A wealth of something. Actually, a wealth of something is used to emphasize that there is a large number of things. There is a large amount of something that is useful, something that is beneficial. So a lot of something useful or beneficial. So we don't use a wealth of something to refer to a large number of negative things or a large number of unpleasant things. We're using it to emphasize that there's a large number of positive things. There's a large number of useful, practical, and beneficial things. So a lot of something useful, a lot of something valuable, a lot of something practical, a lot of something positive. So a wealth of something. An example. The book offers a wealth of information about history. The book offers a wealth of information about history. The book offers a wealth of information about history, which means the book offers a large amount of, a significant amount of, or an abundance of information about history. It offers a significant amount of something useful and valuable. Information, useful and valuable information about history. The second example, he has a wealth of knowledge about English idioms. He has a wealth of knowledge about English idioms. He has a wealth of knowledge about English idioms. He has a wealth of knowledge about English idioms, which means he has a large amount of information and knowledge about English idioms. He has a significant deal, a great deal of information and knowledge about English idioms. Or he has an abundance of information and knowledge about English idioms, right? So he has a wealth of knowledge. He has a wealth of knowledge about English idioms. Guys, is there anything that you have a wealth of knowledge of? What is it? I want you to comment it down below. Is there anyone that you believe has a wealth of knowledge about something? Who are they? Comment them down below. The next English phrase that you can use instead of a lot or many is heaps of something. Heaps of something. Heaps of something. Heaps of something can be used to refer to a lot of something, many things, a large number of people or things. Let me give you two examples. Now, let's focus on the first example first. She had heaps of laundry to do after the weekend. She had heaps of laundry to do after the weekend. She had heaps of laundry to do after the weekend, which means she had a lot of laundry to do after the weekend. There was a large amount of, or a great deal of laundry to do after the weekend. The second example, there are heaps of opportunities to learn new things in this program. There are heaps of opportunities to learn new things in this program. There are heaps of opportunities to learn new things in this program, which means there's a large number of opportunities to learn new things in this program. There is a significant number of opportunities to learn new things in this program. There is a multitude of opportunities, an abundance of opportunities, plenty of opportunities, a great number of opportunities, a plethora of opportunities to learn new things in this program. And now we're moving on to the last phrase of today's video that you can use to emphasize that there's a large number of people or things without having to use a lot, which is tons of someone or something. Tons of someone or something, tons of people or things, tons of people or things. Tons of people or things is an emphatic way of saying that there's a large number of people or things, when you want to emphasize that there's a large number of people or things. Let's have a look at the first example of this phrase used in a sentence. There were tons of people at the concert. There were tons of people at the concert. There were tons of people at the concert, which means there were lots of people at the concert. There were a lot of people at the concert. There was a large number of people at the concert. There was a multitude of people at the concert. There was a significant number of people at the concert. Now let's have a look at the second example. I have tons of homework to do this weekend. I have tons of homework to do this weekend. I have tons of homework to do this weekend. I have tons of homework to do this weekend, which means I have a lot of homework to do this weekend. I have a plethora of homework to do this weekend. I have a great deal of homework, a great amount of homework to do this weekend. So We can use all these phrases that we worked on in today's video to emphasize that there's a large number of people or things. Now I think it's time to review them all once again. Are you ready? So let's review all the phrases that we talked about in today's video once again. A large number of, an abundance of, a multitude of, plenty of, a plethora of, a wealth of, heaps of, tons of. Now I want you to tell me which of the English phrases that we worked on in today's video that we can use to emphasize that there's a large number of people or things you liked most. Comment it down below, and if you can, of course you will, please make a sentence with it and comment it down below. I'll be reading the sentences and correcting them. Thank you for watching the video up to this point. Don't forget to like this video in support of this channel. I help you with your English. You please help me with the growth of this channel by liking these videos, and special thanks to those who do so. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and leave me a comment down below by telling me from which beautiful country you're watching my videos. I'll be back soon with another video.